Steve, you give 72 points in the first half, down 14. What were the adjustments, or what did you tell your team at halftime, and what do you think changed there in the third quarter?
I told them that if we developed some poise in the second half, that the game would come to us. But I thought we were so scattered in the first half, maybe emotionally more so than anything. Dallas came out and just punched us. You know, you kind of know it's coming. Game 2 of a series, saw it last night, you know, in Miami. Like, the team that loses game 1, especially, you know, by a big margin, this is how it works. You know, they're going to come out, and I thought Dallas was fantastic. They just they played harder, they executed better, and we were scattered. And so we just needed to get poised and get the game under control, and we felt confident that if we did that, they wouldn't make 15 threes in the second half. And I told them if they do, then you pat them on the back and say, nice job. You know, if somebody makes 30 threes in a game, then they deserve to win. But that's hard to do, especially if you're solid defensively and you know, staying in your principles and being physical and rebounding. Then, you know, the NBA game takes forever. It's just a long game.
Steve, 62 points in the paint tonight, and Kevon Looney was literally at the center of it all. What are your thoughts on the way he performed tonight?
Loon was just brilliant again. You know, he's had a fantastic playoff run. He's incredibly underrated by everybody. You know, he switches onto guards, and he rebounds, he sets screens. And in a series like this that's so spread out, he's able to score some buckets in the paint as well. So I thought Loon was just brilliant. I thought a lot of guys came in and really played well. Obviously, Steph got going. Jordan Poole's second half was fantastic. Otto played a great game, and Moses Moody came in and gave us huge minutes in that fourth quarter. So great team effort, but it was really all about getting things under control and getting more poised out there.
Steve, you guys, it seemed like you could get kind of what you wanted out of the paint if you just, you know, like you said, had some poise. You know these guys. How tough is it to just be committed to going inside instead of taking the threes to get the crowd into it? And how much did you learn from the Memphis series about having that type of patience?
Well, the game is the game. You know, basketball is about, you know, sharing the ball. It's put it on the floor and draw a defender and move it on. And you know, that's what our team has been built on for a long time. And the second half, we were more organized offensively. We had better spacing. And when the ball started to move, we started to get much better shots. So got a lot, you know, in the paint, and we got some threes as well. We made 14 of them tonight. So like I said, once we got settled down, it was an excellent offensive night for us.
With everything that over here on this side, with everything that Looney's been through in his entire career, you know, playing, and then he played all 82 games this season. What's it mean, or what's it like to see him have a career best performance tonight in a game when you guys really needed him with Draymond Green running into foul trouble?
Very similar to Game 6 when he had a career night against Memphis. Loon is kind of everybody's favorite guy. You know, he's so respected in the locker room. He's an incredible pro. Does his job every day. Comes in, whether we play him for 10 minutes or 32, his demeanor is the same. His work ethic is the same. He's an incredibly smart player, and he sort of gives us a lot of stability that we need. So Loon has been brilliant.
Steve, Doncic goes for 42, and there's a lot of Wiggins on him tonight again. Is it possible to say when a guy goes for 42 that your guy did a good job on defense on him?
Yeah, I mean, I said it after Game 1. I mean, you just, against someone that good, you're just trying to limit the easy stuff. And, you they did a better job tonight of attacking us in the high screen. They really, we were trying to show with Steph and Jordan, and they were really getting, setting solid screens up there and freeing them up a little bit more. So it was a difficult cover, but Wiggs is staying, really determined and trying to stay with him as best he can. But obviously, Doncic is an amazing player, so it's a tough job.
Steve, getting back to Kevon, your guy's extended run goes back 8 years or so, and he didn't come in at the very start, somewhere in the middle there. How has his development allowed you to, how important has his development been to extending this window and having him join in with, the Draymonds and the Stephs and the Clays?
It's been massive. Our team has changed quite a bit since 3 years ago. We lost a lot of talent, a lot of veterans. So we needed Loon's leadership. We needed his size and strength inside. We needed his knowledge, his wisdom. And I think, people may forget, but Loon was a big part of a couple of those championships. The last two, he played a lot of minutes. We trusted him to switch and guard James Harden and when we played Houston in the series in those series, and so he's always been a guy we could trust in the playoffs. And to have him now, I don't know where we'd be without him, frankly, because he's just a huge part of our team.
Hey, Steve. Earlier in Looney's career, when he dealt with some struggles and some injuries, did you see at that time his potential and that he could potentially turn into the player that he's turned into now?
Talking about Kevon?
Yeah.
When he was injured his first couple of years of his
Yeah.
career?
Mm-hmm.
No. Didn't see it because he wasn't out there. He had 2 hip surgeries, and we didn't know what we had. And then that third year when we didn't pick up his option because we hadn't really seen him play, and then his third year he has a great year, and it's like, we might lose this guy. And fortunately we got him back, and he's just gotten better and better.
Steve, back here. Luka and Steph, as great as they were tonight, the stars, how much, you mentioned Poole, and it seemed like that second unit, Poole, Porter, really didn't turn the game maybe, but kind of tilted it a bit in your favor. Going forward, how much, in some ways, will this series be decided by how that second unit plays the way it did tonight?
Every game is different, so you just don't know how things are going to pan out. But you need everybody. You get to this stage in the playoffs. You're playing great teams. If you want to win, you got to have multiple guys come in and play well. And whether it's starters or second unit, you just have to have a lot of guys perform well in order to win the game. So we'll see how Game 3 unfolds. But tonight, I thought Jordan, Otto, Moses in the fourth, I thought those guys were great. So our bench came through big time.
15 threes for them in the first half, 6 in the second half. Did you feel like you played it better, or they just missed?
I think that I always talk about the game. The game is connected. The better you play offensively, the defense becomes a little bit easier because your defense is set. You got some confidence. You got to bounce to your step. So I just think the game connected for us there in the second half. The better our offense got, the better the defense got.
And why did you decide to go to Moses? It kind of came a little bit out of nowhere.
Well, the size. He's got good size and strength. He's a very physical player. He's poised. You saw the play he made in the pocket where he surveyed and went to the rim and laid it in. Felt like a regular season game watching him do that. So Moses has a real calm about him. He doesn't seem like a 19-year-old rookie. He's had some great games for us this year, including one in Dallas where he was huge in a fourth quarter. So we've kind of had Moses in mind for this series, and it felt like the right time to play him.
Steve, you've mentioned the performances from a lot of guys who weren't part of this during, or weren't necessarily big parts of it, and some of them not at all during that 5-year run. We're used to seeing a comeback like this from your team, but not this construction of it. Does it feel like there is some carry through that, despite the fact that there's a different supporting cast, that there is some sense of that same kind of confidence to have a comeback like this?
Yeah, for sure. But, you're talking about, Draymond, Clay, Steph, Loon. I mean, these guys are champions. They've seen everything. They've been through everything. And so our younger guys and our newer additions, guys like Wiggs and Otto, they may be feeling this for the first time. But our core, they've been doing this a long time, so they're not afraid of anything.
Steve, you mentioned in the pregame about the effect of the three-point shot and how it can turn a close game into a blowout. When you're down 19 and it's teetering, do you feel like you guys have a sense of the game having its own pace and not panicking and being able to sort of play at its own to when an opening presents itself, they'll be able to take it?
I thought we got to that point in the second half. I did not think we were patient in the first half. I think, they gave us such a shot. They came out and were physical and aggressive and knocked us on our heels, and I thought we were, again, kind of a little chaotic, a little scattered. So hopefully this is a game that we can, kind of put in our back pocket and remember, because there's a good chance, we're going to be in this situation again, whether it's in Dallas or, later on in the series, whenever. This is a team that is explosive, and you're dealing with one of the great players in the game who can create for himself and others. It's going to be a hard series, so we need to learn from this.
Coach, we've talked about the role players, but Steph Curry had 10 points in the fourth quarter, really took over towards the end there. When you have Luka Doncic on the other side, knowing that he can go off at any time, bring his team back, how nice is it having a superstar of your own, knowing that he can do what he did in the fourth quarter?
Well, there's a reason that our team has won championships, and it's we got players who are stars and players who are fearless and capable of playing and performing under pressure. So, Steph, Clay, Draymond, Loon. I mean, again, they've done this, and but Steph in particular, the guy's one of the great players of all time. So this is what the greats do.
Steve, kind of building off of that, your teams have now won 12 playoff games when trailing by at least 15 points. No other team since 2015 has won more than 6 of those types of games. Like, what specifically do you attribute to that? I mean, if you had to pinpoint something.
Just exactly what I said. The core group. It's at this stage in the playoffs, it's all about two-way basketball. You've got to be able to get stops and string together stops, and you got to be able to score. And we've had really good two-way teams here, and we've had guys who are capable of Steph, Clay, Draymond in particular, of having just massive performances when those types of performances are most needed.
Steve,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Steve, you've talked before about how much a series can shift when the venue changes, and it's sort of a reset in some ways. Given that, and given what you've said about how dangerous, obviously, the Mavericks are, how wary are you? How, as much as well as you guys played these 2 games, how much does it start over in some ways when you go to Dallas?
Well, we just witnessed, the last couple weeks what Dallas is capable of. They were down 2-0 to Phoenix and came back and won in 7. So we know what they're about. We have great respect for them. Great team, super well coached, and Dallas is a really tough environment. Great home court. So it's about to get tougher for sure.
You rally back, but you get within 2 to start the fourth. We know Steph's sitting. You know Steph's sitting. How much confidence do you have that Jordan Poole can take this? Like, is there still like, or is it like, okay, we really need to see it in this moment and see him deliver like he did?
I've got huge confidence in Jordan, and we've seen him do this, with allowing Steph to rest and still, give us that offensive punch that we need, that shot creation. Jordan's really filled a role that has been tough to fill for us over the years. The Steph minutes when he sits traditionally have been really, really difficult for us. So Jordan has given us a different dynamic and really important one.
Steve, you talked about how you expect Dallas to pick it up when they go back home, but how would you grade your team as a road team so far and in the playoffs? And I don't know if you even started thinking about what you got to do in Dallas.
Yeah, well, we've won road games, in this postseason. We won in Denver, we won in Memphis, so we have a lot of confidence that we can go out on the road and win, but we're well aware how difficult it is. So we've got to be ready. We've got to execute and see what happens.
Steph said he throws crazy passes. That's what he does. But aside from the few he had tonight, what do you think of his decision making and how he attacked, and when he chose to take over the game?
Yeah, I thought Steph kind of smelled blood in the water those last 5 minutes, and he got to his spots. We had good spacing, and he got into the middle of the paint and he finished. And Clay made a great pass to him for a three that was kind of the clincher. So Steph did what Steph does, something like that.
You talked last week a little bit about how the franchise is able to improve players. I asked you about Andrew Wiggins and about Jordan Poole, and it seemed like Kevon is another one of those players. He was hurt, obviously, but once he was healthy, I'm wondering if the franchise or if the coaching staff worked on specific things with him to say these are the kinds of things you can do that will really help us, and that paid off.
You're talking about Loon?
Yes.
Again, Loon was really good for us, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So we already knew what he could do. He's got a great feel for the game, so he's a great screener, underrated passer. I mean, it's not like we, said, here's where you can get better. I think this year he became a really elite rebounder, and I think Decky, our assistant coach who works with our centers, I think he's done a great job helping Loon in the rebounding category. But I think overall, Loon has been progressing throughout his career. He's just a good, solid player and a smart player, and it's him. It's not it's not coaching. It's just Loon. Thanks.
Is this a case of championship experience against some of the youth of your team tonight?
No, the Warriors are good. They're a good team. We executed there for a little bit. That third quarter, we talked about and understood. That's where they, tend to turn up the heat, and so, we got great looks, but we have to do better. We have to understand when we shoot 3 or 4 threes in a row and miss, you got to get to the rim. You got to get the ball into the paint. You got to get to the free throw line, and that's just understanding the situation, learning, and maybe it is experience. But again, the guys came out and executed from the start and put ourselves in a position to win on the road.
You also lost the battle of the boards, but as you said, you got to play smaller lineups. But Looney had a pretty big game against you guys. What can you do to try to, lessen his impact as the series goes on?
Yeah, you got to put a body on him. You got to box him out. We have to team rebound and make sure that he doesn't come up with the rebound. But that's he's one of the guys that no one writes about or talks about, but we understand the impact that he has on the game of giving those guys second or third opportunities. So for him to have 5 offensive rebounds, that puts us in harm's way.
Why do you think the dam broke for you guys defensively in the fourth quarter?
Offense. We play defense when we play offense, and we play no defense when we can't score. And that's something that we have to get better at this time of the year. You can get away with it in the regular season, but just understanding the defensive principles, we just have to do better.
Jason, where on some of the dunks they were able to get, guys like Kevon Looney, some of those breakdowns, where was the breakdown in the chain of the rotation there? Like, where were you seeing the defense come apart?
Well, I think it just, they made plays, and we just have to do better. They attack the paint. We got to protect the rim. And when we go back to look at that's one of the things that we have to do better. When we looked after game one, we did a lot better with the physicality of the game. Being able to make shots there in that first half, we made shots, again, putting ourselves in a position, and then we got those same shots in the third, but when you go 2 for 13 and you rely on the three, you can die by the three, and we died in the third quarter by shooting that many threes and coming up with only 2.
Jason, you guys over right here.
Right here.
Right here. You guys have taken pretty much the most threes in the postseason, and you've won that way. So in your eyes, what's the difference from taking too many threes, or what's a 3-point shot that you guys were taking that it would be better or for a different outcome?
Well, if you make them, that's great, but you just have to understand, if you miss 4 in a row, you can't take the 5th. You got to make it. That just puts too much stress on yourself and your team. Because if you're not getting stops on the other end, it turns into a blowout. And so that's what I mean by being understanding, what situations we put ourselves in by shooting 4 threes in a row. If you shoot the 5th one, you got to be able to make it. If you don't, you're on the other end of a blowout, and that's what happened in the third quarter.
Jason, you guys have shown the ability to be resilient at multiple different stops through this postseason. Is this as big a piece of adversity your team has faced in these playoffs, having such a big lead and allowing it to go away?
It's basketball. We're on the road against one of the best teams in the league. It happens. They held serve. We've seen this in Phoenix. So now we have to go back and just focus on Game 3 and get ready for Game 3, understanding what's at stake. We just have to protect home and focus on that first possession.
Sorry, Jason. I was just curious, what did you think about Luka's resolve and his grit, knowing that he wasn't at full strength heading into this and hadn't had a great game in Game 1?
Yeah, well, I think we talked about that before the game, that we thought he would have a good game, and he did. That's just who he is. He put his team in a position to win on the road, not just by having 42 points, but only had 2 turnovers. He took care of the ball tonight. He was a great quarterback. He got guys wide open shots. We just have to make them. Thanks.
Yeah, Reggie, one of the points that Jason made after the game was that once the third quarter unfolded, you guys probably shot too many three-pointers after missing a few in a row. Do you agree with that assessment? And was there a point in there where you might have realized that you guys were doing that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Coming out in the third, we was taking some early looks from the three-point line when we could have drove the ball to be able to get into the lane. Yeah, so it pretty much just started off with that, and it was just able to get out in transition and get the ball going.
Reggie, and overall, why do you just feel like the dam kind of broke in the third quarter after halftime?
We know how good they are as a third quarter team. It's just something that just slipped away from us as the game just continued to go on. In the third quarter, they came out. I mean, they held us to what? How many points they held us to? What, like 13 or something like that? 15. But yeah, and that came from a lot of us taking early threes, and they got them going.
Reggie, they had 62 points in the paint. Obviously, Kevon Looney had the night he had. Do you think defensively you guys overreacted to the 3-point line a little bit too much?
For them, you saying?
Yeah, defensively, you guys playing them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't, it was some of our little small breakdowns, stepping up to the big when somebody coming into the paint, getting easy drop-offs and stuff like that. We know how tough they are as an opponent to guard them from the three-point line, but we just made little mistakes of stepping up and, giving him easy buckets around the rim.
Jay Kidd said you guys don't play defense when you can't score. He felt like that's kind of what happened in the second half. You're obviously one of the stoppers on this team. I'm curious your reaction to that.
I mean, that's what Coach C. That's what happened. But I mean, I don't think it took away from us, as competing. We probably didn't see some shots going in, and we probably was a little bit lackadaisical on the rotations or something like that because we didn't see shots going in. But as a coach, if he see that, I'm sure that's what happened.
You have stitches in your eye here.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
I don't know exactly how many he put in here, but it was just a little contact. I mean, it's playoffs. It's going to be physical out there. So got stitched up and be ready to go next game.
Reggie, what was said amongst you all as teammates after this game? You had a 19-point lead, and obviously they got everything going there in the third quarter and won it.
We've been in this position before. We was just in it last series. Going back home, we got some of the best fans in the world. They're going to be there to support us. They're going to give us a lot of energy. We just got to come out with a great mindset that we can be able to pull away to at home and, be back here in San Fran to be able to, compete for Game 5.
Thank you, Reggie.
Yep.
Jalen, what did you see happen in the third quarter, especially defensively?
They got a lot of easy looks. They were playing Warrior basketball. They're making us move. They had a great run in the third quarter, great third quarter team. They just made a run, and we just let the run go on for too long.
I'm sure it's easy to focus or react to the shooting they have. Do you think there's any overreaction to the three-point line that led to the 62 points in the paint for them?
I mean, they're a good team. So, whether they're shooting the ball from the outside or if we're running them off, they're making plays in the inside. So, they made the right reads.
Jason was fairly critical of the defense that you guys played. Said when we play defense when we play offense, when we play no defense when we can't score. Is that how you saw that second half unfold?
I said this all year. The coaching staff is always going to put us in a position to be successful. We just got to stick to the game plan, and we got to basically preach what they're coaching. So that's that.
Jalen, you guys made 16 of your first 28 threes, and you stayed hot for the game. You finished 5 of 7. But when you're making them at that kind of rate, is it hard to stop shooting them once a few of them stop dropping, like what happened in the third quarter?
We were getting great looks. When we're open, we're going to shoot. We have a lot of guys capable of making shots, knocking shots down. I think as long as we're open and making the correct shooting the correct shots, making the extra pass, doing the things that we do, we have confidence in everybody. I have confidence in everybody to knock it down.
Jalen and Jason spoke about you guys knowing that they were a third quarter team that would make a run. Is some of this loss on the fact that you guys are a younger team in experience versus those guys over there who have championship experience?
Yes, they do have championship experience, and I guess you could say we don't, but it was lost from us just not playing defense to the level that we're capable of, and that's the reason why we lost.
Jalen, Jason's talked a bunch this season about how he approaches timeouts when other teams are going on runs and how he likes to give you guys a long leash and let you guys figure it out. What have you guys learned from that approach this season, and how does that maybe differ or not differ in the playoffs when it comes to being able to try and slow down what they're doing?
He's always been able to basically tell us to make adjustments on our own, and we've been doing a great job of that. We've been doing a great job of talking to each other. And so he obviously helps us, coaches us, but I think as a team, it gives us an opportunity to figure out what we're doing. And so it's definitely helped. It's got us this far. And we just got to continue to trust what we do.
I was going to ask to follow up on that too. What have you guys learned about being able to play yourself out of holes or be able to play yourself out of kind of those deficits this season? And what do you think you're able to build on that, I guess, going forward, being in this position now?
Yeah, we learned that we just got to stick together through the good and the bad. We're a bunch of guys who really enjoy playing with each other, and we just got our 2 words, chemistry and accountability, all year. So just got to keep going.
Do you know when the last time you scored 20 points in a game was?
In probably college. I had Drew League, won't count that. But yeah, since college probably.
January of your freshman year in college. With this matchup, how the floor is spread, do you feel that you have a more aggressive scoring offensive mindset out there?
A little bit. JP, Steph, and our guards are putting a lot of pressure on the rim and trying to just be in the right space. Just open the floor up for them. With me and Draymond out there just working the dunker. Something I haven't did a lot this year, but something I'm pretty used to. So they're doing a lot of drop-off passes to me. I'm able to finish and pick and roll. With all the shooters we have, the paint's pretty wide open, so I'm able to roll to the rim and finish. So.
The MVP chants are usually for Steph when he steps up to the free throw line. What was that like for you?
It was nerve-wracking. I ain't shot the free throw in like 3 weeks in the game, so I'm trying to focus on making the free throw. But it was cool moment for me. I made the free throw, so that was even better.
Kevon, you're logging a lot of minutes on your body. How are you feeling physically? Everyone made such a big deal about Game 6, and then you had a big workload again tonight.
I feel great. Something I've been preparing my body all year. I didn't play this many minutes throughout the year, but I played a lot of games, and my body's been ready for it. My minutes kind of changed from series to series or even game to game. So just staying mentally and physically ready is something that I've been doing my whole career. So it's pretty easy for me to play those minutes now. A few years ago might have not been the same thing, but now that I've been working out and logging a lot of games, my body's ready for this.
Kevon, you guys scored 62 points in the paint tonight. What was behind that team performance?
Just us being patient. I feel like the first half we kind of rushed things, and we was not playing our style of basketball, and we kind of slowed down, and we was able to play our style, push the pace, and JP put a lot of pressure on the rim. Clay was getting to the rim. Steph, Wiggs, and Draymond, everybody was pushing the ball against the paint and making the right plays, and that's something coach was on about at halftime, and we came out in the second half and executed.
Kevon, you're doing a lot of the drive-in, arm extended scoop shots like back in the Milwaukee days. How much has your finishing improved as a center in the league?
It's improved a lot. Growing up in high school and even in college, I didn't envision playing center. So all my center skills I kind of learned in the NBA, just being around guys like Zaza Bogut, Virgil, and even our new coach Decky. I improved a lot even this year, just learning about angles and how to roll off defenders and different things like that. So I done grown a lot in that area. In high school you just kind of catch and dunk, but in the NBA you got a lot of guys that's athletic that can meet you up top, and so you got to work on your touch. And that's something I've been working on. I've been getting a lot better, and it's been paying off for me.
Hey, Kevon, when things weren't necessarily going your way early on in your career with injuries and whatnot, could you have ever imagined at that time that you'd have the type of game that you had tonight on the stage that you had it on?
Yeah. That's something that I always, dreamed about in the vision. I always say keep working, your time is gonna come. Steve always talk about you're gonna always get an opportunity. Definitely playing on this team, and you gotta take full advantage of it. And tonight was my night to make a big difference, and I just stepped up. It's been the thing for our whole team throughout my whole time being here. Guys step up when they're called upon, and it's been me lately.
Teams have picked on you in switches going back to the Houston days. How are you better or different, I guess, as as a defender, against guards like Doncic compared to, let's say, Harden and Chris Paul back in 18?
I'm pretty much kind of the same. Like I take this kind of the same approach. I'm just a little bit more battle tested. That was my first time even playing on a big stage like that. So I don't know if even my teammates had the most faith in me, but they threw me out there and I handled it pretty well. So those experiences got me ready for the thing today, and I feel a lot more confident being out there guarding guards. I'm able to, I know how to watch film better, and I'm just a little bit smarter, a little bit more physical now. So I'm able to, guard those guys a little bit better. Luka and Brunson, Dinwiddie all are different type of players and different type of ISO players. So it's kind of tough having to guard those guys, but I think I did a good job tonight. It's a long series, so I got to keep it up because them guys are going to keep coming.
Draymond, Clay, and Steph are kind of been the center of the dynasty that was built and the center of the conversation. But you have also been with this team for a really long time. Have you ever felt kind of left out of those conversations, or kind of want to be in there with?
I wouldn't say I feel left out. Them guys make me feel involved, and I know the Bay Area always shows me a lot of love, and the fans show me a lot of love. So I feel honored even just to be a part of the ride and be, I get to come in and look up in the banners and my name is on those banners. So I just feel, a lot of gratitude to, be on part of this team. And now I'm having a real chance to make a difference and help our team win. So, it feels good. I don't really feel left out. Like I said, the Bay fans always show me love whenever I'm out, whenever I get checked in the game, and they always give me a good ovation. So it's all love for me.
Kevon, what was it like in the previous series when you weren't playing, when you lost your starting job? I don't even recall if you had any. I don't think you had any DMPs, but your minutes dropped dramatically. What was your mindset at that time? Was there any frustration? And also, on a different note, do you like that they're starting to figure out your loon chant now?
When I went to the bench, or I wasn't really frustrated. Something that always happens with our team. We kind of tinker with lineups, tinker with different rotations. So it's something that I'm used to, and I know I'm gonna get an opportunity at some point. It's always gonna come back to me. Just when it come back, I make sure I take full advantage of it. So I just try to stay ready, and it's been fun just getting back in the lineup, being out there, and knowing that our guys trust me, and knowing I can play in big situations. So it's been cool, and hearing the crowd say your name in the starting lineup is always cool. It's a fun moment for me and my family. Just from my dad, really. Growing up watching him, work 7 days a week and never complain about nothing. Just go to work, clock in, clock out, come home, and still have time for me and the family. It was something I learned from him, how to be a professional. And then coming into the league and having my dad as an example, but then coming to the league, seeing guys like Andre, Bogut, Zaza, D. West, Steph, and then their workout, their routines is something that I took note of, and I figured if I'm gonna stay in this league, I had to do everything the right way.
Kevon, putting your night into some historical perspective, you have to go back to the late 70s for a Warriors center to put up 2010 in a playoff game, Robert Parrish. When you hear something like that, how does that kind of recognize what you did tonight?
That's a cool stat to have. Playing center for the Warriors is it's a different type of job from like other teams. A lot of the scoring and stuff we don't really need us to do. It's a lot of screen setting, a lot of playmaking and doing different things. So for me to have a game like that is cool. Something I always remember, but there's a lot of work to do more. But I'm gonna definitely enjoy the night. I'm gonna remember that stat so I can tell somebody else about it.
And just quick follow, you had the screen to free up Poole for the three to put you guys up 5. That doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but how important is doing things like that to do your role for this team?
That's something that I probably enjoy the most, is getting my guys open. Definitely as a big man, I take pride in making my guys look good, and in turn they made me look good as well. So, me and JP, it's always fun, us being from the same city to, play on the stage like this and have those moments, and it's always cool just to, growing up, I would never really envision I'll be able to play with somebody from my city in the Western Conference Finals. So, some of the moments like that I cherish.
All right, one on Zoom real quick. Sandeep, go ahead.
Hey, Kevon, there was a moment in the fourth quarter. You got a rebound. JP came down and made a three, and the Mavs called timeout. As you're walking back to the bench, Steve Kerr embraced you at half court. Can you share with us what he said with you in that moment and what it meant to you?
I probably don't want to share it, but Steve always been a guy that goes to bat for me, and he always had my back in my career, even when things weren't going my way. He always was there for me, somebody I could talk to. So, when you're having a good game like that, and Steve's able to talk to you and give you that motivation, give you that boost, is something that's always special for me.
Great, thank you.
And shout out my sister, she graduated today.
No, it was more or less night. I was a little bit sick, but nothing serious. The shoulder we got treatment on, so it's fine. It's all good.
All good. Did you feel any sort of effects, like energy-wise or pain-wise in the game?
No, I don't think so. Just, the pain for the shoulder was a little bit there, but other than that, I think after the first quarter I was really tired, but then after that I was good.
From your perspective, what went wrong in the third quarter?
Bad defense, that's it. We gotta concentrate on our defense these two games. Our defense gotta improve a lot.
J. Kidd talked about he felt like you guys relied on the three too much in the third quarter when it wasn't going for you. When you shoot 47%, you hit 21. Obviously, that's good. But what's the balance between wanting to attack and taking looks that are there and that are good looks?
Yeah, I think the same. I think we rely too much on the three. We weren't attacking the paint that much. But we gotta take the paint more, like they did. They attack the paint a lot. They have two of the best shooters in the world, and they still attack the paint. So I think we gotta rely less on the three. Obviously, it's a good percentage, but I think we gotta rely more on getting to the paint and then kick outs.
Luka, looked like in the first half, you were Wiggins was your primary matchup, and you were going after him, getting shots on him a lot. Looked like in the third quarter it was Looney more often, or maybe later in the game. Did I see that right? And is that something that you kind of adjusted to that they were doing?
I don't know what you mean.
Like it looked like you were looking for switches against Looney in the third quarter a lot more than earlier in the game.
When they switch, the low man is early there. So I think we gotta. When I take the paint, usually there's two on me or three, so I gotta do a better job, kicking it out. And for them, we gotta be aggressive. I think those things we gotta improve in the next game.
Luka, you guys have been down 0-2 now in back-to-back series, but to be up 19 and then allow them to come back the way that they did, is this the most substantial bit of adversity you guys have faced in these playoffs, and how do you bounce back now?
Can you normal English for me? I don't understand those two words.
Fair enough.
Oh, okay.
Is this the toughest situation you guys have faced in the
yeah.
playoffs? And how do you bounce back?
Yeah, man, it's the Warriors. They have a great team. Like I said, they're a championship team. So like I said, we got to adjust our defense. It's very hard to stop them. But it's a tough situation. We were up 20 or 19, so it's a tough situation. But we can't look back. What happened, so we got to move on.
This is the second time that you guys have been out-rebounded. The conventional wisdom was that the Warriors would have a hard time rebounding because they're not that big. What can you guys do to make it a more even rebounding stat?
We just got to do a better job closing out and rebounding. That's it. We got to be more physical, and we got to close out better and rebound the ball.
Luka, Jason's talked a bunch this season about how he likes to use timeouts or doesn't like to use timeouts to stop runs and to let you guys sort through things on the court for yourselves. Do you like that in the playoffs, and how do you think that that strategy differs in the regular season in terms of trying to get everything collected and get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, I mean that's good. He's the coach, he's the boss, so whatever he say is good. So sometimes he's gonna take the time out, sometimes no. I think obviously when you play away, I think he's gonna take more timeouts than at home. At home is a little bit easier because of the crowd, but he's the boss, so we listen to him. Yeah.
I'm sure you're used to it by now, but what do you think of Jalen?
Great. He played great. A lot of guys play great. I think offensively we're fine. It's just the defensive end we got to improve a lot.
Luka, ¿qué es lo más complicado después de que arrancan, parece haciéndolo todo bien, esa ventaja de casi 20 puntos que tenían y ver a este equipo regresar de esa manera?
Bueno, es difícil de aguantar a ellos. No hemos hecho nuestro trabajo en la segunda parte. En la primera parte creo que hemos defendido bien y la segunda no, así que tenemos que improvisar nuestra defensa.
Ya saben lo que es estar en esta situación, 2 juegos abajo. ¿Qué es lo que les ha permitido, como fue en la serie anterior, regresar para ahora volverlo a intentar?
Creer en nosotros. Cada uno cree que podemos ganar estos 2 siguientes partidos, así que vamos a creer hasta el final.
Eric Mora.
Luka Doncic, ¿cómo estás? Eric Mora en el mundo acá en Dallas. ¿Cómo salir de esta decepción de este partido después de 19 puntos estar arriba? ¿Cómo dejar atrás y cambiar ese chip? Porque es un golpe fuerte para el equipo cuando pues muchos, incluso aquí en el American Airlines Center, decían que el equipo podía ganar. Mucha gente se fue muy decepcionada. ¿Cómo cambiar ese chip para poder ganar el próximo juego?
Bueno, como siempre, olvidar al siguiente, así que tenemos que pensar en el siguiente. Lo que pasó, así que a pensar en el siguiente.
Last one, Maria.
Hola Lucas, espero estés bien. Quisiera preguntarte cuáles fueron los principales retos o desafíos en estos 2 primeros partidos allá en la Bahía.
Bueno, creo que nuestra defensa era un reto muy grande y creo que no lo hemos ejecutado bien, así que tenemos que mejorar nuestra defensa.
Thank you. Jordan, what is it like to watch your hometown homie produce like that in a playoff game for you guys?
The little kid in me is so excited just because I grew up watching Loon, played against him, and to see him do this on the highest stage, it's just amazing to be a part of. I don't think people understand how hard it is, alone just to be here, and just seeing the professional that he is, the way that he plays, his grit every single day. I don't know. I'm so happy for him, and I'm glad to be a part of that. Shout out to Big Bro Loon for sure.
We've talked about the non-Steph minutes here for years, even before you got here. Pretty important non-Steph minutes this game, especially that fourth quarter. What are you thinking about when okay, the ball's in my hands for 5-6 minutes here, and there's such an important moment and such an important game?
Just continue to be aggressive. I mean, when Steph comes off the floor, the defense tends to focus on me a little bit more, so continue to be aggressive and not only try to make plays for my teammates, but try to look for more shots and just keep our rhythm going. And then whenever me and Steph play together, obviously play off that, but the coaches are giving me the keys, and my teammates trust me, to put them in easy situations, to score and to make plays. So just go out there and just be aggressive.
Jordan, we're used to seeing the Warriors have a big comeback like this, but that's about the previous edition, right? And it's a lot about Steph and Clay and Draymond. But for those of you who are kind of this deep in the playoffs for the first time, is it too much to say that you're kind of maybe riding a little bit of their confidence and momentum? Does that kind of just seep into the rest of this cast that's new to this?
I think what makes us special is that every single player on our roster has confidence in themselves. to play as a team, to step up and make big shots, to make big plays. Otto hit a huge shot coming into the fourth quarter. I think it was corner three. Moses came in right away and had amazing moments, right? Amazing minutes. So, I mean, yeah, we ride the confidence, but as a team. And, you know, these guys have been there before, and they've been in this situation before. So, you know, we go to them and we look to them for leadership, but we're also still writing our own story and trying to do anything we can just to help our team win games.
Jordan, you've kind of touched on this indirectly, but how much pride is there in that second unit when you and Porter and those guys are out there? I mean, it kind of tilted the game early in the fourth quarter. It was close going to the fourth. And for you guys to make a difference like that, how important is that, I guess?
Just step up and be ready for the moment. You know, Coach wouldn't throw us out there if he didn't believe in us and he didn't trust us. And we have a lot of big-time players, you know, not even just solely focusing on offensively or defensively, but leadership-wise, experience-wise. We just have a really good core of guys, and the way that we just mesh together and play together. I want to see everybody else succeed takes us a long way.
Jordan, I want to circle back to the confidence question. Yo. Got me?
He was hiding.
Where does that have? That's not every team has, every player has confidence. Is that something that all of you came to this team with? Was it developed here? Why is it that every player on this team has confidence?
Coach gives us the opportunity to play freely, and the unit that we have, the guys that we have, are all team first players. So when you go out there and you can be as aggressive for yourself, but knowing that if somebody's open, we're all willing to make the right play, it's really fun to be a part of. And we feed off of that, and our chemistry off the court helps that. And like I said, we have a really good mixture of young guys and guys who've been in the league for a couple of years and vets who've been through it. So just a really special situation. And I think we know that, and we're not taking that for granted. We just got to find ways to keep winning games.
Jordan, you had a 16 second half points. What were you seeing from the Mavs defensively that sort of let you go off?
I think we just slowed down a little bit. We were more patient. Stopped turning the ball over as much in the second half. Kind of got to our actions, and we were able just to buckle down and get stops in the second half. They shot the lights out the first half, and we were able to contest a little bit harder and, you know, get some rebounds and get out in transition. But we can score in a hurry, and I think that's what makes us so dangerous. And once we're able to get stops and get on the run, we kind of got it going.
What did change defensively? They hit 15 threes in the first half, only 6 in the second. Like, what did you guys do better?
I think we just mastered physicality a little bit. Play with a little bit more urgency. But we stuck to our game plan, and like I said, there were lights out in that first half. And, you know, if a team goes out there and they hit 33s, credit to them. So just sticking with it and just finding ways to execute down the stretch.
You had Moody out there with you in that fourth quarter, as you mentioned. He hadn't played meaningful minutes, I think, in the playoffs at all. Was that a surprise to see him out there with you? And just what was it like to have him out there in that stint?
Moses is extremely mature, and what makes him special is that he's ready for any moment. You know, and for him to come in and step up and play big minutes in the Western Conference Finals and help us pull out a win is huge. And that just goes back to the credit from the vets, just giving him the confidence and instilling the confidence in him, and the coaching staff instilling confidence in him, and players. And we're all just a collective unit. So shout out to Moses. Huge minutes, and he helped us win a game. And I'm glad he was able to experience that, you know, especially as a rookie. And I have no doubt that he'll be able to build off of that.
Jordan, you hit a three with just under 8 minutes to go to put you guys up 5, and there was Kevon setting the screen for you. What's it like getting a screen from him? How does that help you be able to execute on a play like that?
Yeah, the 4-1-4 duo that we have has been all year. And then the chemistry that we have, the connection that we have on ball, off ball, the way we play off each other, it just makes it really easy, not only for me, but being able to put him in positions to score, and if they want to press up, hitting him in the pocket. And like I said, he's an intelligent player, so he's going to make the right play. And I love playing with Loon. I played against him when I was young, and he had 40, so I'd rather be on his team.
You mentioned him having 40 when you played him when you were young. This was a career high for him tonight, 21. Are you like the least surprised person in the building then? When he had
20 in the league in the playoffs, Western Conference Final is still 20, and we go back and forth. He was talking about how he had more points than me in the game a couple of times earlier on in the regular season, but I don't know. He just stepped up. And Loon's a dog. He's always been a dog, and just to see how he had to change his role and his style of play to be a professional, and for him to come in and just score 20, 12 boards, and that can't be overlooked. So credit to Loon, man.
You guys were down 19 at one point in the first half, I think 17 and early in the third quarter. What was just the message at halftime, with facing such a large deficit?
I think the message was, we just got to come out playing a little bit harder and get back to the game plan. I think we did a good job of that, focusing in on what they were trying to do. And, we just offensively, we just took our time, and the ball started to move and we started to get good looks and we started to play better defense.
Otto, what goes into staying locked in as the series shifts to Dallas?
Like I said, we just got to stay with the game plan, what we're trying to do, stay with the formula. We know they're going to be at home. We're going to have all the energy. The fans are going to get into it. We just got to stay poised. And I think if we do that, we'll take care of business.
You mentioned needing to stick with the game plan. What didn't you guys do well in the first half that let them get off for 15 threes, and what did you do better?
We just didn't communicate well enough on the pick and roll. They were able to get out, and Bullock hit some shots. They were able to find some shooters. I think we got a little bit closer to them in the second half, made it tough for them. Like I said, we just played harder.
Otto, Kevon Looney has been so steady, durable, whatever you want to say. But the performance, starting with Game 6 to now, that he's given you guys.
It's been all year.
Yeah.
It's been all year. He's been, he's been the rock in the inside for us. He's going to continue to do that. We can always count on him to be ready and step up at any moment.
Are there times when he grabs a rebound that just gives you guys such a lift because it's another opportunity or just a chance that maybe you unexpected second chance?
Right. Yeah. He's when he's down there, he's doing all the dirty work, cleaning up the rebounds. And for us, we play defense for 24 seconds, and when he gets the rebound, we can push the other way. So I mean, like I said, we've been focusing on rebounding all year, all playoffs, really. So with him in the inside, we know he's gonna get a lot for us.
Following up on Janie's question, I mean, an emphasis on Kevon's rebounding that's where the emphasis is. But tonight he had a career high 21 points when he's scoring the ball like he did tonight. What else does that do for you guys that he hasn't given you yet before?
I mean, they're the way they're guarding Steph and Clay, putting two on the ball, we take advantage of the inside. And Looney down there, they don't really have shot blockers, and he just takes advantage of it. He's in the right place at the right time for offensive rebounds, putbacks, dump offs. He's always ready. And so when we drive and then they help, we can count on him being there for the easy lay. And he's really good at being down there and dunker, and just his overall presence. Appreciate it.
the MVP chants that started to echo. They weren't for you, they were for Kevon Looney. What was that experience like for you?
Amazing fan interaction. That's how it's supposed to be. He's been playing amazing, making his impact felt both ends of the floor, and when you get your home crowd appreciating the impact, the input from everybody, and making him nervous at the free throw line, it's special, especially with the way the game was going, the way he came back, or way we all came back and fought to the end.
And for Kevon, just with everything he's been throughout his entire career, with all the injuries and everything, what was it like to see him have a career night tonight in a game when you guys needed him most, with Draymond running into foul trouble?
I think we've been talking about it, all year in terms of him playing all 82 games. Game 6 of the last series, coming back into the starting lineup and just dominating the boards. And now he's finding a new way to impact on the defensive end, obviously, and then being in the right place, right time, finishing around the rim. Career high, most he's had however long. So it's amazing to see him just take the experience of being around, these last 7 years and, being ready for his opportunity in different series. You can tell he's got composure, he's got experience and just the know-how. And whether he's playing 30 whatever minutes or not, he's ready.
Steph, when we asked Steve Kerr about Kevon, he said he's every guy's favorite guy. Well, why do you think that is?
Without going into his history, he's just been through a lot. And from his rookie year, where he's playing some minutes in the finals, to now, he's just adapted to the things that's been thrown at him. You could tell how this year, him being available was the biggest thing he wanted to accomplish, and you could see we see the work that he's put in to making that a reality. And now in the playoffs, just taking that next step. He brings a lot of joy to what we do in the locker room. He's kind of I call him like the muse in the locker room. He kind of just has a great demeanor about him, and he's the bridge to the vets and the young guys. It's pretty awesome to see him adapt to that role.
Steph, 2 questions for you. You've been playing, really well in the fourth quarters. Did that make the wait longer this time? You got in about 6 minutes. That was almost a full 6 minutes, maybe for the first time in this playoffs.
That's the flow of the game, and it's amazing to see. We all know this is a team game. This is the ability of everybody to step up, and the way the game went. In the second quarter, try to hit a couple shots to keep us in it, give us some life. It's 14 points, then we battled back to be down 2 at the end of the third. Our defense was amazing. And in that first 6 minutes, JP, Loon, Otto, Clay, they all made great big shots and gave us, a nice lead where we could steal a couple minutes here and there. Got back in and we were able to finish the job. So the confidence that we have in everybody who's out there to step up and make plays, you feel that flow and you don't want to kind of interrupt it, even though those are important minutes. And JP, Loon, Otto especially, they did their job and helped seal that win for us.
What's been your obsession with bedtime in these playoffs?
I have no idea. I keep telling you I don't choreograph none of that stuff. It's just kind of just having fun. And I think you talked about having kids. You know how bedtime routines are important. And it's the final signal for a job well done that day. So pretty special.
Steph, to see, Steve said at halftime he talked about poise and just letting the game come to you guys after it had been a little scattered in the first half. And to see that third quarter, that's the you guys shine in third quarters, and then for Otto to hit that three to take the lead there. What did that feel like, that moment, like momentum shift?
I think you got to start with how the game kind of began. Like, we knew they were going to come out aggressive and making shots. I didn't think it was going to be that hot. No matter what we did, it seemed like they always found the right guy. The right guy had no hesitation to shoot it, and they were making them from all over the floor. I think 15 threes in the first half. It felt like a lot, but also you look up at the scoreboard, we got it down to, I think, 2 at one point, and then it ballooned back up, and then we got it down to 14. And 14's for us is more than manageable if we come out and influence the game starting on the defensive end. And you give a team like that 13 points, or limit them to 13 points. It wasn't like a flurry, but it just seemed like we regained the momentum and slowly and methodically kind of walked them down until that point. Like, the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter was, kind of the real momentum shift that gave our crowd some life. It gave us life, and allowed us to run away with the win.
Steph, when you guys are going on a run and you know that it's coming, you guys have been through it so many times, can you sense the inexperience from their side? Maybe not panic, but that they haven't been here before compared to you guys having been here before. Can you sense that on the floor?
Nah, it's not that. It's just the supreme confidence of what we do. You don't really know what they're talking about in the huddle. You don't really feel what's going through their mind. It's just you have imposed your will, and for us, like the experience and just the chemistry. Obviously, this group is different, but we have that attitude and spirit. Like, we feel like we're never out of it. I think only one game this playoff run so far, like, we've been severely outmatched from start to finish, but that belief then turns into execution in the game, and you can feel the momentum. It's more just focused on what we do. And when you have those opportunities to, stick the dagger or come up with 3 stops in a row, like, those are the times where you feel that good energy going our way.
And secondly, do you think they heard you when you said night-night on that last 3? Because you were right in front of Dallas's bench.
I was looking at the ball and looking at the rim, so I was talking to myself. So I don't know who heard it, but it's a good way to finish the game, and we got to take that to Game 3.
That's not choreographed at all. That's just in rhythm. You just decided to say that?
Absolutely.
You mentioned the 15 threes in the first half. A lot of it was, guard-to-guard screens. Just what didn't you guys do covering some of that well in the first half, and what did you do better in the third?
I think we got caught on – they obviously were trying to go at me and JP and pick and roll. There were a couple of times where we got confused, didn't put pressure on the ball, so they were kind of just – Luka could get wherever he wanted to. He obviously made a couple of tough shots, but the decisions were, I think, a lot easier for him in the first half, where somebody was open, whether it was him off the ball screen or him getting downhill, kicking it back out, and us kind of scrambling. And then they made a couple. I think they all made a couple tough ones. So you kind of didn't want to overreact, but also we got a lot better on the ball. Just trying to keep bodies on Luka, close out to the shooters that we know are hot, and then rebound the ball, so that's our best offense. When you're fouling and when they're making shots, especially dagger threes, like, it's tough to really gain any momentum, and things shifted our way.
Steph, are there times when you're feeling maybe the defense isn't all the way focused on you as much as it has been, and maybe a little bit to Jordan? There's at least one play where I think you took it down the left side of the lane, and Brunson just took half a step to you and then ran out to Jordan, and you didn't have the open lane to him. He wasn't helping on you. Do you remember that, or are you feeling this a little bit where the floor is slightly different because Jordan's out there?
Absolutely. And he's more than capable as a ball handler and a playmaker to take advantage of that. There are times where, me or Clay are off the ball and we know they're not really going to leave us, so side defense isn't really there, and he's amazing at taking advantage of that, getting to the paint, crafty finishes. There's a couple times in transition where I remember at the end of the second quarter, he was coming down the left side. Everybody's focused on him and his speed getting to the basket. He found me on the right wing, and I knocked it down. There's opportunities like that. So there's a lot of trust in being able to put the ball in his hands and know you got to figure out what you're going to try to take away. And he's been amazing at finding the seams. Him and Looney had a great chemistry tonight. And it's nice to have another ball handler that can take advantage of those looks.
2 Clay dunks in the second half. They're really, kind of taking away his 3 in this series. How important is it for him to do what he did, kind of pressure the rim?
I think that's 2 games in a row where he's figured out over the course of his minutes the different looks that literally not taking a body off of him no matter where he's at. Playing the pin downs pretty well. So he's gotten a couple backdoor cuts in game 1. He got some pump fake drives where there's no help getting all the way to the basket, kind of the Tim's question. Like there's space out there. We just have to really take our time and take what they're giving us. And over the course of 48, you'll find some clean looks. So when we get in trouble is when we try to we don't react. We just have our mind made up, and no matter what they do, we might take some tough shots or some quick shots. Plays right into their hands.
Steph, we're used to seeing you and Clay and Draymond on a stage like this, pressure like this, comebacks like this, but it's new for Wiggins and Porter and Jordan, a lot of the guys you're out there with. What are you learning about those guys in moments like this, in games like this? And do you think you can kind of sense the bravado you guys who have been there before bring to the table, that kind of seeps into everybody and raises them a little?
I mean, yes to all that. It's something that's been slowly building over the course of the regular season. It didn't always show on the court, but the roles and how we play on both ends of the floor, everybody's, I think, very comfortable in what they're asked to do. Even Wiggs, where he has a tough challenge of chasing Luka pretty much everywhere, every time he's out there on the floor, every minute he's out there, and you understand he's going to get scored on because Luka's nice like that, but over the course of 48, you figure out how that's going to wear him down a little bit and how he can go back at him on the offensive end. Otto, in the same way, he had a big 3 in the fourth quarter, just being aggressive and ready for his moment. So we try to bring that attitude, and those guys are really, demonstrating that the moment's not, too bright for them. And we need everybody's contribution because this team is different than years past.
Cool. Thank you for